In the realm of watch collecting, a single mistake can determine whether your collection becomes a successful one or one filled with regrets. We're exploring the captivating realm of watch collecting, revealing the expensive errors you must steer clear of. Whether you're new to collecting or an experienced enthusiast, we'll be your trusted source, offering advice and wisdom that can help you save both your hard-earned cash and unnecessary disappointment. So, hang in there until the video's end, and you'll gain the know-how needed to make smart decisions and create a watch collection that's not only impressive, but also budget-friendly. Not listening to my head. I remember liking the previous model of the Omega Speedmaster when I first tried it on, and I almost bought one. However, there was one major reason I didn't go through with the purchase. The bracelet had long end links that I strongly disliked. Because my wrist is quite small, these end links extended beyond my wrist, making it uncomfortable to wear the watch. Then, in 2021, Omega released a new moon watch with a completely redesigned bracelet featuring shorter end links. I rushed to my authorized dealer to try it on. With this new design, there was no overhang, so technically, I could wear it comfortably. However, my logical side told me, this watch has a 42mm case and a thin bezel. It might look too big on your wrist and you might struggle to pull it off. On the other hand, my heart told me that there was no overhang, and this was the perfect update I had been hoping for from Omega. So in the end, I followed my heart and brought this moon watch home. I must admit, I don't wear it as much as I'd like to because it still feels a bit too large for my wrist, being impatient. As you may know, it's not easy to simply walk into any authorized Rolex dealer and get the Rolex model you desire. One model I had my eye on was the Explorer, which was introduced in 2021. I believed it was one of the most versatile watches in Rolex's lineup, and its size was just right for me. One day, I happened to walk into an authorized dealer, and they offered me a bundle deal for the Rolex Explorer. This meant I had to buy a non-Rolex product from the shop to get the chance to buy the Explorer. Because I wanted the Rolex Explorer and didn't want to wait, I decided to take the deal. However, I later sold the extra watch I had purchased within the same week, but at a loss. If I'd been more patient and waited, I probably would have received the Explorer by now without having to make an additional purchase. Caring too much about what other people think. When I first started wearing my Rolex Submariner, I began to question myself with thoughts like, will wearing a Rolex attract too much unnecessary attention? What if my boss sees the Submariner on my wrist and decides not to give me a raise? Will others think I'm wearing a fake? Because of all these concerns, I stopped wearing my Submariner for a while. But you know what I've learned? Most people actually don't pay much attention to what you're wearing. And if someone does notice your watch, chances are they're also into the hobby of collecting watches. The lesson here is to wear what you like and not worry too much about what other people think. Giving myself too many excuses to hold on to a watch that I no longer wear. I initially bought the Black Bay Harrods because I thought it was special, being a limited edition only sold in the UK. However, shortly after getting it, I realized it wasn't the right watch for me, mainly because of its weight. I seriously considered selling it, but ended up making excuses to keep it. One excuse was its status as a special edition. I thought if I ever wanted it again in the future, I might not be able to buy it directly from Harrods once it's discontinued. Another excuse was that it could be useful for my social media content. However, a couple of months ago, I finally made the decision to sell the watch. And you know what? The Black Bay Harrods is still in production, and I don't miss it at all. I simply didn't need it in my collection, and I wish I had the courage to sell it sooner, buying too many unnecessary and sometimes cheap accessories. You know how everyone complains about the poor quality of the straps that come with moon watches? Well, I also loaded up on a bunch of straps to go with my moon watches, but in the end, I only ended up using 2 of the many straps I bought. The rest never saw the light of day again. My main lesson from this experience is that I should only buy the accessories I actually need. I've also learned that it's better to invest in high-quality products, even if they cost a bit more upfront. Falling into the supply and demand marketing trap. When the Black Bay 58 Bronze was first introduced, Tudor made a big deal about it being available exclusively in Tudor boutiques. This made the watch seem more special and exclusive compared to other Tudor watches. At the time I purchased the Black Bay 58 Bronze, there was only one Tudor boutique in the UK. Luckily, the boutique had this watch available just 2 days after its release. I thought to myself, since only one store in the entire UK carries this watch, it must be rare, and I'd be foolish to miss out on it. Given my love for the Black Bay 58 series, I decided to buy it without much hesitation. However, fast forward a couple of years, and there are now 7 Tudor boutiques in the UK. And guess what? There's no waiting list for this watch anymore, buying too many pieces in a short period of time. I remember when the Black Bay 58 Black was first released, I wanted to add it to my collection. However, due to high demand at the time, I couldn't get my hands on one, and I had to wait for quite a while to finally get one. After wearing it for a few months, I realized that the Black Bay 58 was the perfect watch for me. Then, Tudor released the blue version a couple of months later, and I immediately put myself on the waiting list, thinking I'd have plenty of time to decide whether to add it to my collection while waiting. To my surprise, my authorized dealer offered me the blue 58 after just 10 days. At that moment, I decided to seize the opportunity, remembering how challenging it was to acquire the black version. That's how I ended up with 2 of the exact same watches in my collection. Don't get me wrong, I still love both pieces. However, looking back, I should have spent more time with the original Black Bay 58 before rushing to add the blue model to my collection. Now that the hype around these 2 watches has subsided, I realized that I probably would have only kept one of them if I hadn't been so quick to acquire the Blue Bay 58, buying the wrong watch for your other half. Watch enthusiasts like us often assume that our significant others will share our passion for watches, but the reality is that they often don't. I wanted to gift my partner a Rolex for her special occasion, so I got her a date just 31. Don't get me wrong, she loves this watch, and this particular model and configuration are her favorites from the entire Rolex lineup. However, she doesn't wear it very often. In hindsight, a better choice for her might have been a quartz watch, because she wouldn't have to adjust the time every time she puts it on. It could have also been from a brand that doesn't draw as much attention as Rolex. It's important to remember that just because you love watches doesn't mean your significant other will appreciate them in the same way. The key is to get them a watch that they genuinely love, and not just what you want them to love. In the end, are there other costly mistakes you experienced in purchasing your watches? Share them in the comment section below. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe to Luxury Focus to stay updated to all our future videos.